Hi, this is Mike Kay and Sal Bergen coming to you live from Comic-Con 2015. I'm here with Rob Venditti and with Van Jensen, the writers of The Flash. So how's it been writing The Flash, guys? It seems like it'd be a great series to work on.
Oh yeah, it's a ton of fun. You know, The Flash is a character who's very intuitive. You know, he runs fast, he's got a lightning bolt on his chest, and there's just something very relatable about all of that. You know, all of us, from the day we're born, we want to move faster. You see it even in little kids. And so to see somebody who lives that out to their power set, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, there's also all the side characters that are so much fun. I mean, from, you know, Wally West, Iris West, the Rogues, everyone at the police precinct. I mean, it's just, there's just a real depth that's been built up over the years with so many rich characters and scenes and ideas. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty fun sandbox to play in.
Well, that leads me to the next question. Looks like you guys are working on with Professor Zoom right now, which is big fan favorite character. So how's it been working with him? It seems like he'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, you know, obviously for so many reasons, people have loved this character and been terrified of him for a lot of years. So, you know, he's a legendary character, and to get a chance to write a character like that is a really special thing. And you know, we're really focused on, you know, understanding what makes the character resonate, but also really bringing some new stuff to the table with him.
Yeah, when we came into the series, Zoom was one of those really big iconic pieces that hadn't really been introduced into the New 52 yet. Not just in the Flash mythology, but in all of the DCU. So from day one, it was something we were talking about. We didn't want to miss the opportunity to be able to introduce something like that. And so it's finally to be able to get to the point in our run where we were able to go ahead and do it.
That's really cool. So what can we look forward to over the next few months with The Flash?
Oh wow, a lot of stuff, yeah. So, you know, Zoom is back. He has a very long game plan that he's implementing against Barry. He's such a fun character to write because he's very, you know, sort of sick and sadistic, but in a way he's also sort of sympathetic, you know, what his motives are, the way we're writing him, and a lot of the scenes that we're going to be doing with him, you know, he's there's definitely a reason for what he's doing. It's just the way he does it doesn't make a ton of sense. But so yeah, there's going to be a lot with that. Also, conflicts with Barry, between Barry and his father. If you've read issue 41, at the end, Henry Allen actually orchestrates a prison break. He's now out of Iron Heights. He's on the run, which obviously puts Barry in a tough position. Barry believing his father's innocent, but everybody else thinking he was rightfully convicted. So there's that element as well, and a ton of other things.
Yeah, we're bringing the Rogues back, which I mean, that's just an awesome group of characters, and so, you know, we had done a little bit with them, but, you know, kind of renewing and focus on them. There's a lot of big stuff coming with Wally West, so yeah, it's going to be a really action-packed run with some kind of new ideas and some new wrinkles for even Flash's power set brought into it. So I'm just really looking forward to it.
Have you guys had a chance to watch the new WB show yet? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's been great, and I have to admit, there were a few episodes I missed because I've got a young son. It was like his bedtime was when the show was coming on, so I feel like I have a good excuse. But no, it's a really fun show that stays true to the core of, you know, the character, and I mean, so much great talent involved with it. So yeah, really enjoyable.
I watch it every week with my kids, and it's great because we're not aware of what they're doing on the show in advance, and I don't think they're aware of necessarily what we're doing in the comics. They're both operating in separate spheres. So for me, I'm able to sit down and watch it with my kids, just like anybody else in the audience, and be surprised when other people are surprised, and get excited when Gorilla Grodd shows up. So it's fun to be able to enjoy it that way, because a lot of times when you're on the inside, a lot of stuff gets ruined for you, and you know, it kind of takes that away. So it's nice to be able to just be a part of the audience.
Awesome. So who are your biggest influences getting into the comic world?
Mine was Van Jensen. No, I didn't start reading comics until pretty late, you know, so for me, the first comic book I read was Kurt Busiek's Astro City, and that was really what I read and made me decide I wanted to write comics. And so Kurt was always a huge influence on me, just the way his stories were always so grounded, you know, always so accessible, you know, because he does so much of this great, you know, through the point of view of the person on the street, you know, kind of thing. So I followed his writing a lot. So I would say he's probably the primary one.
I'm trying to think. Like the biggest thing probably for me growing up was Larry Hammond's G.I. Joe. There's a whole generation that's like the defining moment for them. People working in comics who are early to mid 30s, I guess. The silent interlude issue with Snake Eyes, where there's no text through the entire issue, and it was one of those things as a little kid that just really opened my eyes up to, oh, you can do so much more with this medium. It's something that's always really resonated.
So I have to ask you about The Surrogates, because I love that movie. So what was that process like? You wrote the books, and then they came to you and said, hey, we'd like to option us to do a movie?
Yeah, I mean, at the time I was working in the warehouse at Top Shelf Productions. I was their, warehouse manager, box packer guy. I wrote that book while I was there. That was the first comic script I ever wrote. We ended up publishing it, and I mean, the most I thought would happen, I hoped somebody would publish it. I felt certain nobody would ever read it, but at least I'd have a resume piece that I could hand out to editors, and this is what I write like, and maybe get some more work. So to have all that stuff happen was great fun. It wasn't like it definitely helped me get my foot in the door in terms of a career. But I mean, 2 days after I was at the premiere, I was back in Top Shelf's warehouse packing boxes again. So I tried to stay realistic about it, But I mean, obviously, I was real fortunate to have that happen, and it was a great time.
All right. So if you guys could recommend one piece of your work from any point in history to a brand new reader, what would it be?
Honestly, I mean, with every issue that I write, being the kind of guy who came to comics pretty late and walking into the store and seeing these high numbers and these massive continuities and having them be alienating in a lot of ways, for me, I would hope that any issue I've written would be an entry point that somebody could pick it up and understand what's going on, because that's certainly the goal. So if there's ever a case where that's not the case, that's me falling down on the job. So, I would stand behind everything I wrote in that regard.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to answer. You look back over your career, and there's every time I have something come out, I'm never happy with it in a way. I always kind of look back at things and just see the things I would have done differently, and so. But at the same time, everything is a reflection of who I was as a creator at that time, and so, I think one of the nice things about doing comics is like with Rob and The Surrogates and all the other stuff that he's done, and the creator-owned stuff that I've done, like we have a really broad range of types of books that we've done, and that's really the genius of comics, is you can do anything with it, and so they're even just in our two careers, we've done a lot of very, very different books and had a lot of fun with it.
Very cool. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for the interview. We really appreciate it. This has been Mike and Sal from Comic-Con 2015, signing off until we get retconned.